Well, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. Jill here. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, again, like I always do, welcome everybody to the Intentional Painter. If you've not been here before, welcome. I'm very glad to have you. My name is Jill Williams. I'm a professional painter, and I have this group available here on Facebook so that I can just kind of get together with everybody that's interested in painting to share some tips and strategies. We also do demos occasionally. I also launch my workshops out of this group, but we do meet here every Wednesday where I'm able to just offer some free advice and tips and helps that help you grow as a painter. That's kind of the design for the whole group. So thank you everybody that's here. If you know anybody that's interested in painting and they're really serious about their craft and they're working on their painting and you think that this is a group that they would be interested in participating in every week, please invite them to the group. Let them know that we're here. I would love to have them, and it'll be great. Our community keeps growing, and you're always invited to participate by posting your work, making comments and encouragements to other people who are in the group posting their work. And the only thing that I ask is that, you know, this group is part of my art business, and so and it is a portal where I do launch my workshop. So it's not intended to be a place for others to market their work or to sell their items, that type of thing. So if everybody, I think everybody has been very accommodating for that, and I do appreciate it. So, but definitely post the work that you've been doing based on the assignments that we've done, or excuse me, not the assignments, but on the demos that we've done here. If you check out the videos section, there are tons of videos that we have, you know, that I have been doing, that I have been posting over time. We've actually been going since September of this year, and so we've been going along pretty well. Lots of content there for you to try things out. I do work primarily in watercolor, but I'm also an acrylic artist as well. So a lot of the lessons are in watercolor, but there are some acrylic things there too. So just go through the video section here in the group. I know you're going to find something that's going to be helpful for you. So I do appreciate you joining in. So last week when we got together, I was about to go out of town for our camping trip right after Thanksgiving. And I was so hopeful that I was going to be able to post a lot of things while we were gone. I wanted to do a couple of lives while we were out there in the woods, and, you know, different things like that. I knew that reception would possibly be an issue, and of course it was like a big issue. So I didn't get to post like I wanted to while we were gone, but I did get lots of photos. I did get some video that I recorded, you know, while I was there. I've got lots of photos that I'm going to be working on some paintings, and I want to be able to share those with everybody. And then, of course, I'll be putting those things up on my art page and my website. Those things will be available for sale. But I definitely want you guys to get to see kind of a behind-the-scenes look of, you know, what it was like for us to be out there. So we had a fabulous time. You know, when you go on these types of adventures, you know, we just loaded up our kayaks, got into the Chattahoochee River. We're in Georgia, and so we got into the Chattahoochee River at one of the exit points there. And, you know, we'd never actually got into the river at this particular location, so it sort of felt like, I hope this is going to work out okay. You know, we haven't been there, and but everything was fine. It was really good. I had all these great ideas of how I was going to film us, you know, launching into the water, but the water was moving pretty fast, and it was like, you know, we just needed to keep our heads on a swivel and pay attention so that we didn't flip our boat. So I didn't really get to film that whole process. That didn't work out as well as I thought it would, but I do have some other things that I'm going to be able to compile and put together and put some videos out so that you guys can see what we did. Had a great time. It did rain on us Friday night. Had a beautiful day Friday, and then it rained Friday night, but we had the gear for it. We were set, so we were dry, we were warm, all that good stuff, and we had a beautiful day Saturday and had planned to stay Saturday night, but rain was forecast to come in on Sunday around the time that we needed to start packing up our camp. So we just thought, you know, let's just not fight with that, because it is hard to get where we were, it was very remote, very primitive camping, okay? So there's nobody there to help you. It's just you know, it was just myself and my husband and all of our gear, and we had to haul it, you know, for a little ways. You know, it was about 100 yards that we had to carry all of this loaded, both of our boats loaded, and get back down to the river and get back in the river before the rain hit. So, you know, all these things kind of go together, and it's fun for us on, you know, we're having an adventure, but you can't really film all that stuff because you got to pay attention to what you're doing so you don't get hurt. And but anyway, fun stuff, had a great time. And one of the things that I came away with over the course of our weekend was how much I love to go camping, how much I love to be outside. And an idea that I've been kind of playing with for a while was making my own watercolor out of, you know, natural pigments, out of natural elements that are already everywhere around us. And so I had already collected a lot of red dirt. We live in Georgia, so if you know anything about that, there is just, it's tons of red clay, red dirt everywhere. That's how we roll here in Georgia. So I had collected a good bit of it probably over a year ago, because I was also using it to create some ceramic glaze that I wanted to use to create on my own. And so I still had some of that left over and started messing with that and put together a relatively successful watercolor pigment that I want to share with you today. And if it's something that you're interested in, there are tons of recipes online. They're all different. You just sort of have to start experimenting and figure out what fits best for you. But I'm going to show you what I have and what I have done with what I've got going on. And if you have any questions, I'll definitely, at the end of the video today, I'm going to go through all the questions and make sure that everybody gets answers to whatever they've got in mind. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around so that you guys can see what I've got set up here. All right, so this was the little painting that I just completed not too long ago. In fact, I did it last night. And it's just a little impromptu thing. I just sort of wanted to practice and get some of this brand new pigment on the paper just to see what it was going to do, see how it was going to behave. And so far I'm very pleased. In fact, if you can see, look at all of that really nice granulation that it provides. So this is just red dirt off of the ground that has been processed a little bit. I'm going to explain to you a little bit all the things that I had to do to get this dirt ready to actually paint with, so that it becomes stable and permanent, and it doesn't stink and doesn't have mushrooms growing out of it, because it is dirt. There are little organic things in there that have to be dealt with. So I'm going to show you what my paints are made of and how I got it, and then I'm going to do a little demo just on a new sheet of watercolor paper that I have here so that you can see it in action. All right, so I started with, this is just some red dirt, okay, that I collected here in Georgia. It's plentiful, it is everywhere. Depending on where you are, there are going to be different types of dirts, soils, you know, that you might have access to, but red oxide is what makes this Georgia clay so red, okay, and it stains. If you've lived here, you know that everything you have, if it gets this on it, it becomes a permanent mark. So I gathered some of the dirt, but the dirt has to be refined, okay? You can't just take off with it. So I just went outside with a spade and just literally just dug some up, put it in a lunch bag, and brought it back inside. And I used a sieve to pulverize the dirt. Now, this is a little tool that you can get at a ceramic supply shop. And when I say sieve, this is not the kind that you can get at the kitchen store. I'm going to hold this up. I don't know if it'll even show you how fine this mesh is. You can see my hand behind here, but the mesh is literally, it's so fine, you almost have to have a magnifying glass to see how tiny the weave is, okay? But you use this little bowl, and I just took all the dirt, put it in the bowl, and I wore some gloves to do it, but you just press the dirt in a circular motion, causing it to filter through the sieve, and then of course it just turns it into absolute powder. It's very fine, almost like confectioner's sugar, okay? I've got a little video of me doing that I'll post later so that you can see what that looks like. So once you have your powder, you can take the powder, and this is basically what the powder looks like with a little bit of water added to it, so that it kind of turns it into a little bit of a crackly paste. You know, and kind of stick my finger in there. It's a little bit wet, but it's just almost kind of like a real thick paste. It makes me think of like tomato paste if you're cooking. You know, it's real thick. Places of it have dried out, which is fine, but you just want to get this kind of consistency. After you have this, you still have to, you've got to sterilize the dirt, okay? And the reason that you have to do that is just because there are little organic, microscopic, you know, little things in there. I don't know, somebody that's got a science degree could tell me, but there are little microscopic microbes in there, and the dirt has a smell. You know, when you smell the dirt, you're smelling all of that organic material, because rocks do not smell. So when you smell dirt, it's all the things in it that are alive. All right, we need to get rid of all of that stuff so that we don't have mushrooms and mold and little critters in there breeding and doing whatever they do. So to do this is going back really old school, when people used to make their own pigments. Now I didn't want to get my dirt really hot and scorch it. That's where we get burnt umber and burnt ochre and burnt sienna, all those things, that those minerals. That dirt was taken and it was actually baked, you know, at high temperature, which is going to darken it, just like toast, giving a different color. I am going to experiment with that, but this is just the raw iron oxide, but I steamed it. So to do that, I just took a saucepan, filled it up with a little bit of water on the bottom, and took actually this little glass bowl. This is like a little Pyrex bowl, and I just you know, put it down in the bottom of my boiling water, the pan of boiling water. Just let it sit there, and then I just covered it up with a lid and let the steam just infuse it, okay? Lots and lots of steam. And I just let that do that until the whole pot completely cooled off. When I took this out, the dirt has no odor. It's completely sterilized. It is absolutely odorless now. So that's where you want to get it to that stage. So now you've got your pigment that's ready to use. And we are going to be looking at turning this into watercolor. You could also take this same pigment and add linseed oil to it and make an oil paint. Okay, so you've got a lot of things you could do. You can take acrylic binder, mix with it to make your own acrylic paint. Lots of options here, okay? All right, so to actually get from the dirt, the sterilized dirt, to your watercolor paint, this is actually my watercolor pigment right here. I'm trying to just get a spoonful of it, but you can see it's a really thick, very heavily concentrated batch of this, and this would fill up, you know, one of my little half pans or something like that. And I'm just experimenting right now, so I'm just making very small batches to make sure that it's going to behave the way that I want. So to get from here, just your dirt, to the watercolor, you've got to add a binder. So this is gum arabic. All right, so you can see it kind of just looks like it almost looks like sugar water, like a thickened sugar water, okay? And the way that you get this, you'll have to get some gum arabic. I'm using powder, okay? You can use it in a liquid form, but since I'm using, you know, powdered dirt, I also want to use powdered gum arabic so that I've got the same consistency of materials going together to actually, to make the pigment. So you can order this stuff online, and I do recommend, you know, spend the money to get a good quality. This is like you can see it says here, food grade. I didn't know you could eat this stuff, but apparently there's some fancy desserts and that type of thing that use gum arabic to get, I don't know, I didn't really read that much further, but anyway, there's little desserts that use this. So you can see it's just this real fine powder. okay, and it is organic, okay. So when you mix up a watercolor, when you mix this up, just like I have this here, I mixed up the gum arabic according to the instructions of the recipe that I had to produce this liquid, and then you just combine the liquid with the with whatever amount of dirt that's called for. And so that's what you have here, just these two items mixed up together to actually form the paint. All right, now since the gum arabic is organic, it can go rancid. All right, so you know, depending on the recipe that you use, there are other ingredients that you add, preservatives that you can add and that type of thing, so that it doesn't start to stink and spoil. But I'm just using very small batches, and I will leave it open just like this. I don't care if it dries up because it is watercolor, so I can re-wet it and keep going with it. So without any further ado, let's take a look at what this does on the paper. And I can tell you, anytime you're using a mineral pigment, especially like the Daniel Smith Primatech colors, they are all made with mineral, and they provide this beautiful granulation that you see where the heavy sediments just settle into the pores of the paper, okay? And to get these effects, you really need quality paper. Do not use Strathmore or Canson or some mixed media paper from a sketchbook. Make sure you're using very good quality watercolor paper in order to get the effects that you need. So I'm just going to get into my water here, and I just want to show you a couple of things of how this new pigment behaves. So I'm just going to get the paper wet right here, just so that we're just going to practice a couple of things that it can do. All right, so I'm just wetting this right here, just a little strip. And then I'm going to get into my pigment. Let me stir it just a little. Just want to make sure all those particles are nice and suspended. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and get some of the paint. And when I actually get it over here on the paper, you can see it'll start to kind of bleed into the water, just like you would expect a watercolor pigment to do. And this is a little bit heavy. The pigment is very, it is very heavy, because there is dirt in it. And so as I'm experimenting with this, I'm going to have to continue gauging just the right amount of pigment to add so that it can really take off into the water in ways that I'm used to, commercial varieties working. I think there's a pretty good chance that I've got the pigment a little too concentrated, which is causing it to not want to, take off in the water exactly like I'm used to. But it still behaves really, really well. I've been very impressed with what it can do. And so you can see it's starting to give me those little fingers, those little strands that I would come to expect, just like in my Daniel Smith colors. And I just love the fact that I have made this myself. There's something really, really special about being an artist in the first place. But when you can take the natural materials around you to create things that are important to you, there's something very special and grounding about that. That just kind of, it kind of lets you be a part of history in the way that artists have worked for generations and generations. It's really, really exciting. I've just got a little bit more paint, a little bit more concentrated amount of paint that I've put on here. And you can see there are no clumps of dirt. Okay, that's where that sieve process is so important. I'm going to turn my brush sideways and just do a little bit of a dry brush effect here. And you can see my water just really gets dirty. Now, in case you're asking or thinking, well, why can't you just put red dirt right on the paper? Well, You can, but it's not going to be fixed. It's not going to stay there. It has to have a binder. It has to have a glue that will seal it and cause it to attach firmly, solidly to the paper. If you have done your own watercolor paintings, you know that when they're dry, you can just rub your hands across them. In fact, here's the one that I did yesterday. You can see my hand is clean. Well, that finger may have a little bit of dirt on it from earlier, but these 3 fingers are clean. And, when I rub over this, it's not coming off onto my hands. It is fixed to the paper and made permanent because of the gum arabic. Okay, because when it does dry, it really is nice and solid. All right, I'm going to keep going here, and let's do a little gradient coming off. This is some heavier pigment that has been applied, and this is just a wet brush, and I just want to come into it like I normally would with any other type of pigment, just to see how it's going to bleed and move around. And it behaves pretty much like you would expect. You get some nice little gradients. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wet the whole bottom half of my page here. I just want to get all this wet. And then I'm going to load up my smaller brush here with a little bit more pigment. And I just want to kind of play a little bit. I'm going to come in here with some of the heavy pigment, and I want to just let it kind of run. I want to see, one of the things that you want to look for when you're experimenting with a pigment, even if it's out of the tube, is what kind of effect you're going to get when it's allowed to just run into the wet paper. This is one of the things that helps you to understand your pigment a little bit more, and you can start to think about different types of effects that you can get just based on how well the pigment likes to flow and participate with the water that's on the page. It's really important to know how it's going to behave. And the granulation is really nice. Just getting my brush loaded up here. Let me hold this a little bit closer. You can see all the little grains. Look how much it granulates. It's just delightful. I just love it. All right, so I can tell that this is starting to really kind of start to look like a landscape to me, because that's just naturally what's going to happen if I put a brush on some paper. So I'm going to dry this right quick and do an extra little step here. Okay, so let's take a look at this up close. I want you to kind of just look at these beautiful granulation textures, and look how nicely it just bled into the wet paper. And again, only good quality paper is going to give you that. Strathmore or Canson is not going to give it to you. it just will not cooperate with the pigments. But where I was seeing a landscape is when I turn this upside down. So I'm going to come in here now and finish out this little landscape. Let me get my brush wet here. I want to come in here and just get a little bit on my little dagger brush. If you're in my class, if you're in my workshops, you know that I'm constantly using the dagger. So, but I want to come in here and I just want to kind of use what's already here as a little bit of a roadmap to let me know where to put some darker values. It's just going to be a one color. I'm not even adding another color to this right now. I just want to keep it this pure use of this one pigment. So I'm kind of envisioning that this is almost like a little bit of a scarce amount of snow that's coming across the hilltop here, but we can still see some of the trees coming up out of from behind that little ridge that's got some snow on it. I thought we were going to have some snow today. Everybody in Georgia dreams of snow, right? We just we never have the luck with that. Too far south. But it did. We had some big flurries last night, and it was so exciting to watch. I knew it wouldn't turn into anything. Our bird bath outside had frozen over, but I knew that by this afternoon mosquitoes will be breeding in it. It'll get warm again. Now, just adding, and this behaves just like any other watercolor. You know, the colors that are underneath that I dried, they're nice and fixed. They're not going to move. They're going to stay right there. Just get some of this out here on my tape so I can work with it like it was a palette. I just want to make some little fine lines that almost look like little tree branches, just to kind of indicate that there is some structure to those trees in there. It's almost like there's a little row of, you know, bare trees in front of some evergreens out in the distance. I think I'm going to leave it right there. There are, you know, you can still combine, you know, these colors with your other pigments, okay? If you want to do some experimenting though, because this is, you know, something that I have made on my own and just I don't have tons of experience with how this is going to behave over time, I don't want to really get this, I don't want to get this out and get some of it incorporated into my palette with my other colors, just in case there is some something that happens strange over time. So I will probably just squeeze out colors on a separate little palette to experiment adding this color with some of my other watercolors, because I really do want to see how they're going to blend and combine with one another. Here we go. Yeah, I kind of like that. All right, so just a nice little landscape there. So much that you can do, and I really look forward to adding this to some other of my pigments just to see what I come up with. But just a nice little, you know, just a little abstract landscape all in one color. But look at the different values you can get just with the red oxide. I'm so pleased with it, and it has been so much fun. So I hope that's been something that has been interesting to you. Had super fun doing it, and I kind of avoided doing it for a while just because I knew it was going to be involved, but it's simple to do, but there are some kind of tedious steps, and you know, this little this little sieve that I have. You can see it's kind of sort of looks like a mixing bowl, but it's got the little wire mesh right in the bottom. And these are not cheap, but you can see, let me get it in front of the camera here. Yeah, so this is made by Laguna. They are a what am I trying to say, a ceramic glaze company. They have beautiful, beautiful glazes. And I buy glaze, you know, in bulk a lot of times, and it's just powder. And so you actually have to put the powder into that sieve and rub it in, you know, a lot to get it to all force down into the sieve to get your powder, and then you can mix it with water to make your glaze. So I already had that on hand, okay? So that would probably be your biggest expense. And I know that it's tempting to think about going to just using a kitchen strainer or something like that, but the mesh is so tiny. Like I said, you have to have a magnifying glass to even see the weave of the mesh. It's so fine. So that would be a thing to consider. But you can get those at a ceramic supply store, and you can order them online as well. So that was probably your biggest expense. The gum arabic, you know, when you get a good brand, I feel like this one is good. It is food grade, which I would, you know, highly recommend. I got this on Amazon. It was like a little 2-ounce package, and I think it was, I don't know, $6 or $7. And there's enough in here to last me like forever. It's a ton, so it's definitely enough to make some watercolors. But let me look through and see if anybody had any questions with my new setup here. It tells me that you're there, but when you make comments, it just says Facebook user. But good morning, everybody. So good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Someone asked, what time do we meet on Wednesdays? So let me know who that was. Wednesday, that's my paid workshop on Wednesdays, but it is 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. Hello from snowy Ohio. I think I know who that is. Pam, is that Pam, or maybe it's Karen? Karen, okay, Karen, you put your name. Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Oh, someone says that they made some pans of watercolor from natural pigments that were purchased in Provence. Wonderful. I was so hoping I was supposed to teach in Italy back in May, and I was so excited about going to Florence. I was going to be buying some pigments in Florence, like you do. And so excited about that. Didn't get to happen this year, but it's coming. I'm so excited that you got to do that. And this user shares a website, earthpigments.com. Yes, they're going to have some recipes for mixing up your pigments. And like I said, it's crazy. I mean, it's just like getting a recipe for a casserole. You know, there's going to be 1,000 different ways to do it. So just kind of get out there and find out, you know, what you like to do. Yes. Okay. Whoever it was that is making theirs from their pigments from Provence. Yes. Some of those ingredients are very familiar. The gum arabic is there, glycerin, oil of cloves, and water. And yeah, the oil of cloves, I think, is I've seen oil of cloves called for, as well as honey. And in both cases, I know that those present aroma, but more importantly, they are antimicrobial. Okay, so to prevent any little things from growing. But the one thing that I felt like was one of the biggest, most helpful pieces of information was to sterilize your dirt. Okay, if it smells like dirt, you know, dirt does smell good. I love the smell of dirt, especially after it rains, that smell that you get. Okay, that's not really the dirt. It's all the things that are alive in the dirt. Okay, so, okay, Nancy, thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed that. All right, guys, if you got any more questions, just let me know. I'm looking through here. I don't see actually any more questions, but if you watch this in the replay, just put #replay with your question. That lets me know that you're there and had watched it later. And anytime you want to comment or make a question in the group after a video is over, always tag me so that I will know to go find it. Otherwise, I might not find you. So I think that's all I've got for today, and I will be sharing this photo with you as soon as this has some time to dry. I'll get a photo and put it up there for you. So thanks so much, guys, for joining in. And last week we also did talk about, you know, setting up, using the Thanksgiving break to set up a space for you to work. So I would love to hear any feedback on that. If you guys were able to come up with some interesting ideas, I'd love to see photos of your setup, that type of thing. Always good to encourage your fellow group mates, to get them inspired to do the same types of things. So happy painting this week, guys. I will be letting you know about a new workshop that's coming up after the first of the year. I'll get some more information to you by next week on that, but it'll be after the first of the year, and I'm very excited about that. We're going to be doing a combo session this time. The workshop is going to consist of doing some realistic still life work and also adding some abstract landscape into the mix. So we're going to kind of mix it up a little bit and just have a mixed bag on this next workshop. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've had some interest in that. So I think that's everything. And so happy belated Thanksgiving if I didn't get to talk to you before then. And I will see you guys next week. Invite your friends and I'll talk to you soon.